Hey guys, I am so sorry that I didn't upload a video earlier. I was having some difficulties with my computer not acting right. Two, I do apologize for the music that's in the background. I live in an apartment building. My neighbors are playing music. I have zero control of what song they're gonna play, when they're gonna play it, who it's by, whatever it is. So if you hear songs in the background or muffled music, that is not me, that is my neighbors. And I can't control anything about that. So I do apologize for that in advance. So we're just gonna hop right in then. I've already washed and prepped my face for all this makeup to go on my face. Everything I'm showing you today is kind of similar from last video, except for we're gonna do a slightly different eye look. It's gonna be the same palette, just different shades. So first things first, we're gonna use the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This guy here. Like I said before, I got this a while ago, so I don't know how old it is. Probably should throw it away, but there's still a lot in here left. I'm gonna use my handy dandy mirror too. So I'm gonna use this to apply it on my eyelids. And there's a hair in it. There we go. Oh my god, my neighbors. I swear. I can hear every single thing that happens in my neighbors below me, and it's always them. It's not anybody else. And I just use my finger to kind of blend this out, because for me personally, if I use a brush, it ruins my brushes. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it just does. Okay, next we're gonna hop right into the eye look. Again, we're using the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, the first one, and then I'm also using a Urban Decay dual-ended eyeshadow brush. This brush is from the other regular full-size palettes. So let me just double check. Okay, cool. So the colors I'm going to be using today is Naked 2, Faint, and Venus. So Naked 2 is this brown shade, here. Venus is a dark brown, Faint is a dark brown, and then Venus is this lighter shade here. So with the Naked 2 in the bigger side of my double-ended brush, I'm just going to take this and apply this all over to my eyelid. Again, I apologize for the music. I have zero control, zero anything of my neighbors. I guess that's the downside of living in an apartment when you are filming something. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I certainly can, and I'm only a couple inches away from you guys, so there's that. I promise you guys I have more eyeshadow palettes than this. I might not have the most up-to-date eyeshadow palette, but I have a lot of stuff. Next, I'm going in with Faint, which is this brown shade here, and I'm going to apply that brown shade in my crease with the same side of the brush. And I'm just going to do a simple eye look today, nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated, nothing too hard. Only, again, using those 3 shades. Trying to blend this section out here. Because sometimes when I dip my brush in a darker shade, I pick up too much and then it stays in a certain spot on my eyelid. And that is my own fault, nobody else's. Alrighty, so there is that. Next I'm debating whether I should put the second color in the inner corners or on my lid. I think I'm gonna do the inner corner of my eye, but I'm gonna come back and do it. So I'll apply my face makeup and then come back and do it. So we're not quite done with the eyes yet, but we are getting there. So next is the face. I'm going to prep my beauty blender. This is the Real Techniques beauty blender. I like this better than the actual beauty blender, plus the orange color is cool. I'm going to prep it with some regular water. I put regular water in this jar. I did use up the product that was in here. This is the Rose Water Glass Spray. It was really nice while it lasted. For me, if I sprayed it directly on my face, it made it red, but if I sprayed it on the sponge and then used the sponge to apply everything else, it was fine. And then I just refilled this with regular water instead of trying to get up every single time to wet the sponge, like go to the sink or whatever. So just use this. This is handy. It's nice, reusable, saving the earth, you know, all that stuff. So this is prepped, ready to go. I'm going to set that aside for now. With the primer that I'm using today, I'm using the Wet n Wild, I can't talk today. Wet n Wild Photo Focus Face Primer. Sorry, I'm looking for chapstick, which I don't have, which is okay. Again, Wet n Wild Photo Focus Face Primer. It looks like this. This is a little bit older too, but you know what? That's okay. So I'm going to apply it here, here, here. I put a lot of primer on my face just because, I know the foundations that I have aren't the most full coverage foundation and don't really stay on the face that long. And then I know my own skin as I'm getting it in my nose. I don't wear makeup that often, but when I do, it's usually when I'm filming or if I have somewhere to go, like church or an event with friends or family or something like that. So don't go through products that fast. Maybe mascara, but that's probably about it. Okay, face is prepped. The foundations, I'm using two different foundations. One, because my skin shade is so different and it changes every season, every year. Changes because of age, because of tanning, whatever it is. I have to use or buy different shades of mixed foundation, or buy a lighter shade and then buy a darker shade of the same brand. So again, I apologize in advance if my foundation's too dark or too light, but I know it goes with my skin tone. It just depends on the season. Like we all know, people tan in the summer or tan in the winter and things like that. The first one I'm applying is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint Foundation. It looks like this. This is the shade Honey 85. I like this one because of how big it is and how big the applicator is. So the applicator is pretty big, almost like a concealer applicator. And I just take this and dot it all over my face. This foundation, I had the AC on all day, and this foundation is really cold on my face, but you know what, it's okay. So I got my whole face dotted. Now time to blend this out. I think I blend pretty quickly because I'm used to getting ready really fast. Plus, I don't want to make this video super long as well. As you can see, this isn't super full coverage anyways, so I'm not that worried about it if I don't get every single little thing blended completely out on here, because I'm about to go over it with another foundation anyway. So and that is blended out. As you can see, a lot of it comes off on the sponge. Next foundation I'll be going in is another Wet n Wild product. It's Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in the shade Cream Beige. It looks like this. This one, I like this one because it's more full coverage than this other one that I have. The downside is this smells like paint. So if you know what that smells like, you will know. This one has a flat applicator, so I like this one. This one is cold as well because I've had the AC running. I live on the 3rd floor, so it gets really, really hot when the AC is not running in the summertime. Oh, lovely. It's on my shirt. That's okay. Okay, that should be enough, but we will see. So I'm going to blend this out as well. So right now I can already tell this is kind of light on my face, but you know what? It's nearing the end of summer, so my face isn't going to be as tan in a couple weeks anyway, so we're just going to work with what we've got. Kind of pinkish tone, but that's okay. It doesn't 100% cover all the blemishes. Like I have one here, I have one on the side of my forehead, and I have a couple on my cheek. But it does a decent job covering some stuff up. Again, I apologize for my neighbors playing music. It's probably like the 4th or 5th time I've said that, but it's whatever. Okay, that is done. Yeah, this is done, ready to go. Next, I will be going back to my eyeshadow and finishing that look. So first things first, I'm going to take my brush and take my actual my setting spray. I'm going to spray the flat side of the brush. The setting spray I'm using is the NYX Matte Finish Long Lasting Setting Spray. And I'm only just going to spray it 1 or 2 times. And this is almost out. So I'm going to go back in that eyeshadow palette and I'm going to use the shade Venus, which is this bright white shade here. I'm going to place this in my inner corner. The downside about this shade is it doesn't pop as other shades in other palettes, but it's okay. Again, work with what you got, right? I swear to God. Okay, then the eye look is finished. With that, you can add some black eyeliner on top if you want to, on the bottom, some colored eyeliner, do whatever you want. I usually keep my looks like this, pretty straightforward, pretty simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next, I'm going back to my face. I will be using the Milani Cream to Powder Makeup. I believe this was a foundation, and at one point I grabbed the wrong foundation and the wrong shade, as you will see in a second. But I use this as a contour slash bronzer. This is again a cream foundation. It says cream to powder, but it stays creamy in my opinion. So it looks like this. And then when you open it up, it is this color. So as you can tell, that's way too dark as a foundation for me. So I'm just going to use it as contour. Grabbed way too much. And with this stuff, you really do not need a whole lot. This stuff goes a long way. Like a little goes a long way. And for me, it's very dark and it's very creamy. So, I mean, it's a good thing in the sense that it is, but you don't need much at all. Most of it stays on the sponge anyway, so I'm literally just drawing on my face at this point. And I promise you guys I will upload different videos with different eyeshadow palettes. I just have a plan that I'm working on with this eyeshadow palette. So I'm going to use the side that I blended my foundation with to blend it out, because the side that I applied it is very dark in shade and I don't want to blend more darkness onto my face. And with this stuff, if you put a lot on there, it's very thick and it's gonna take you a while to blend it out. So just be cautious on that. When I first used this product, I think I put a lot on my face at first, and it took me like a good 15 or 10-15 minutes to blend it completely out for it to look semi-decent. And I like the shade because I don't have to go back and add powdered bronzer to it. It stays pretty put. Okay, next I'm going to go in with concealer. Probably should have done that first, but oh well. I'm using two different concealers today. The first one I'm using is the Sephora brand concealer. It's the Bright Future Gel Serum concealer in the shade 12. It looks like this. I truly do not know if they sell this anymore. I have not been in a Sephora in a long time. Yeah, I don't know if they sell this anymore. I have a few more of these guys that I still have in the packaging that I got years ago, so it hasn't even been opened. I can tell you guys that right now, which I will use because I'm not just gonna waste something that I haven't used, or at least try to anyways. This number, the shade 12, is pretty dark for me in the winter time, but in the summer it works just fine, and I don't wear a whole lot of makeup in the summer anyways, so that works as well too. Before I blend this one out, I'm going to add another concealer on top of it. Just because, again, my skin color changes like a chameleon. So the next concealer I'm going to use is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer in the shade Light Pale. Probably picked up the wrong shade, but you know, we just gonna mix the two colors together and call it a day. It looks like this guy here. Trying to find the arrows. There we go. I'm literally just gonna go on top of this because this stuff is so light. Like here, let me show you on my hand. That's what it looks like on my hand. But if you mix it, it's not too bad. And that's what doing makeup really is mixing colors, mixing shades, figuring out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. What works for you may not work for somebody else, and vice versa. It's really just all about artistry, I guess, for that. I'm gonna blend it out again. Find a open space on my beauty blender. I don't really like to use brushes to blend my makeup out because they leave streaks on my face, and I don't really like that. It looks weird to me. And boom, everything is blended out. Just gonna shape a little bit on my nose. There we go. Next is setting powder. As I'm doing setting powder, I'll add more to my face. So, gotta find my brush. So, the setting powder I will be using is from the company Too Faced. It is Too Faced Prime Poreless Skin Smoothing Pressed Powder. This one is pure white powder. It's the translucent powder, I think. It doesn't say, but it is white powder that I have used up. It looks like this. There used to be gold writing here, but I scratched it off. When you open it up, it looks like this. It's a white powder. Clearly I've used a lot of it. This is probably almost going to be gone by the end of the year. And the brush that I'm using is Sonia Kashuk, if I'm saying that right, K-A-S-H-U-K. This is just a big fluffy brush. I'm gonna set my makeup with this one. Oh, I wish my neighbors would turn their TV down. And I'm gonna get in trouble by YouTube if you guys can hear this. And this stuff, the powder is okay if you're out for a short time period. It does make your face more greasy in the areas that you set your face with, in my opinion, but you know what? It's okay. So while that is sitting, I'm gonna do blush, highlighter, lips, and then do mascara last because mascara is wet. Or I'll just, you know, come up with some other, a different thing. Okay, next I'll be going in with some blush. The blush I'm going to be using is the Rimmel London blush in the shade 032 Plum. It looks like this. I think this guy is older too. I actually took this I took this from my grandmother. In the end, she said I could have it, but she didn't want it anymore. This is like a purpley shade, pinky purpley shade. You don't need a whole lot of blush. The brush that I'm using came from a set. I don't use blush that often anyways, so it takes me a while to go through it. And I got really round cheeks, so they're like really perfect for that. That is done. The brush that I used is this guy here. There's no name, there's nothing to it. I use it for that kind of, I use it for a blush brush because it fits perfectly on my face. So next I'm gonna go onto my lips, and the lip liner that I'm going to be using is the Makeup Forever lip liner. This is the red one, shade 714 Full Red. And she looks like this. I got this from a friend because she didn't want it anymore, so I took it, or she gave it to me. I should say. You can use any lip color for this eye look. I say since you already have a natural toned or neutral toned eye look, go bold with your lips. Do blue, purple, black, whatever, or do nude, whatever works for you. I love reds and pinks, so you will be seeing that a lot in the videos that I'm making. I'm just looking for this other, there we go, this other brush. So yes, I use a lot of reds and pinks. So the actual lip color I'm going to be using came from a lipstick. I actually melted it down and put it in a jar because I ran out and the extra just sits at the bottom instead of throwing it away. I dug it out and did it that way. It is from the brand CoverGirl. I just forget what shade the name was. And she looks like this. I put it in this cute little jar using this cute little brush to apply it. And this brush is bent, but that's okay. Ah! I'm just gonna go over that. And because I'm using a brush, it takes me a little bit longer to apply my lipstick. But that's okay too. Again, because I'm using a brush, there's the brush hairs are falling off. I might throw away this brush anyways eventually, so here's that. It's not the best, but I'm just gonna leave it at that before I mess it up even more. So next I will be going in with, I'm gonna change out the powder on my face. Use the same brush, but I'm gonna put some foundation powder on my face as I'm wiping away the translucent powder. So the foundation powder I'm using is a Pure Cosmetics 4-in-1 powder in the shade Tan. So this is what she looks like when you open it. This is the shade here. Using the same brush. I'm just wiping it away on my face so I don't look too white. I don't like it when I look too white. I look pale, sick, pasty. look like I just sit in the dark all day. I'm just gonna hit the rest of my face with some product too. That is done. Next, I will be going in with two different mascaras. The first one I'll be going in with Cargo Cosmetics Better Than Waterproof Mascara. Then the next one I'm going in with is Urban Decay one. The Urban Decay one, the label is scratched off, so I don't really know which specific one this is, but that's okay. So the first one is the Cargo Cosmetics one, which is this guy here. Oh my god, my neighbors. Man, I swear, if I get in trouble because of my neighbors, that's not my fault. That's somebody else's fault. I do not control when, where, and how, and what volume people play their music at. And why they're playing loud music at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Who knows? As I have powder up my nose. Oh, and mascara on my eyelid. Huh, that's okay too. We're just gonna roll with our punches. I'm pretty good at doing that, putting mascara on my eyelid. That works great for me. So, next I'll be putting the Urban Decay one on. Like I said, the label scratched off, and literally, like, there's nothing else on here. So, I don't know which one it is, but I do know it's Urban Decay one. Next, I'm going in with highlighter, or loose glittered powder that I'm using as highlighter today. So with that being said, I need a brush. And with this highlighter, when it's dry, it's straight up thin glitter. when it's wet, it's like a wet paint. So it's really hard to get what you want out of it. I think it was supposed to be used as body glitter, but I'm not really sure because there weren't really directions on how to use it or like a label or whatever for it. So I don't know. Okay, so it looks like this in this cute little plastic jar here, and it's pretty full. I've had this for a while. It came like in a makeup kit thing, so there's that. And without spilling, looks like that. And the brush I'm using is a Real Techniques number 200. It's this cute little brush. I think this is an eyeshadow brush, but I'm going to use it as a highlighter brush. For this glitter, you don't need a whole lot. Not a ton at all. Oh Jesus. Put a tad bit here. I love me some highlighter. I will highlight the heck out of my face. It's so, like, I just love it. Natural highlighter, balm highlighter, whatever it is. It's so pretty. It's like the adult version of glitter. Like, kids to glitter as grown women is to highlighter. Like, it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that I really like it. And no, I don't highlight my forehead because my forehead already gets greasy enough. Why would I grease it up even more? That is done, and I have a whole bunch of that left. I'm trying to figure out what else I missed. I didn't miss anything. For my eyebrows, I don't do my eyebrows. If I do it before I put the rest of my makeup on. Tried to do that today, but didn't work out so great, so I just wiped it off. But yeah. And then I'm going to add some setting spray. The setting spray I use is the NYX Matte Finish Long Lasting setting spray. Used it on the inner corner of my eye today in the Venus shade. So yeah. And then the look will be finished. Hold on. There we go. 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 There we go I got some on my lip, and I can tell in the mirror like there's drops on my lip, and I'm trying not to lick it off because chemicals, one, are not good for you, two, taste really gross. So yeah. And that is the final look, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed filming it. Again, I promise I will put out different looks for you with different palettes. I am getting there. Again, I apologize for the late upload. I was having difficulties with my computer. And 3, I do apologize for the music in the background. I live in an apartment building. I cannot control what happens here. Any type of noises, sounds, screaming, music, whatever it is. Can't control the volume of those things. Can't control where it's coming from, who it's coming from. Can't control what song it is that's playing in this case. So yeah, I do apologize for that. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.